and welcome to the Oxygenaddict Triathlon Podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors, precisionhydration.com.
Precision Hydration offer electrolyte drinks in different strengths to match how you sweat. Personalise your hydration strategy at precisionhydration.com and you can get a free box or tube of pH worth up to $9.99 with the code Oxygenaddict.
And we're also sponsored by our patrons,
who support the show with a monthly or one-off donation, and you can get our 2018 patrons only podcast as a thank you.
Yeah, and if you want to find out more about signing up for Patreon, you can just click the link either in the show notes or on the webpage, just to the side of the webpage there, and you can find out all the details. And Hells, welcome to the show. It is the 7th of May. It's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK as we're recording, and in the immortal words of the Sun newspaper, "Fwah, what a scorcher."
Robert, it's been amazing.
I reckon it's the best bank holiday in 23 years, I reckon. The last really hot one I can remember, I was talking about this with a mate earlier, was in 1995 when we went to his university for a birthday party, and it was red hot. Like, we all got really sunburnt and drank too much, and we had such a good time. We were meant to get the last train home on the Monday, and we didn't. We woke up on Tuesday morning, having decided we'll get up really early and get the train from Leeds back to Blackpool at like 5:30, and we can get to work on time. We woke up at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning in Leeds still. It was not pretty. Not pretty at all.
Oh, but you're in the right place today.
We're here, we're in the right place. The sun is shining, and I'm sure up and down the country and probably across the world, people have been out hitting the training hard this weekend, and maybe even getting a bit of open water swim action in as well, with it being so warm, hey?
Oh my God, Rob, honestly, this weekend has been a weekend of 2018 firsts for me.
Go on, what have you been up to?
I did a trail half marathon on Saturday, longest run since Ironman Wales.
Very nice.
Yeah, rather hilly little number as well, but it was in the Shropshire Hills. It was stunning. It was really bloody hard.
What a great day for it.
Honestly, it was incredible. So yeah, did that. Then yesterday went for a lovely open water swim, and I did, I don't know, just over 3K, longest swim of 2018.
Wow.
First UK outdoor swim of the year. And then today, Rob, having said last week that that I had only biked for like 90 minutes this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just joined a friend who's training for a 500-mile ride, and 120 in the bag.
Nice. 120k?
No, miles.
120 miles in the bag?
Yeah, that's what we've done today.
Wowzer. So there you go.
No training.
Longest ride, 90 minutes, just back from, what was it, 6 weeks in Australia?
Yeah.
120 miles.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now? You pretty whipped?
I'm pretty whipped. I had a major bonk at 90 miles, and I was like,
you have a sense of humour failure?
Oh, very much so. Someone's trying to talk to me, and I was just thinking, like, shut up, literally shut up right now. You're talking, and you're finding this really easy, and I'm struggling up this hill. It wasn't even a hilly route. Incline. I was like, oh, I'm feeling this. I am feeling that half marathon in my legs, and I am feeling my unbike fitness in my whole body. Then, Rob, had a cinnamon bun.
Nice. Fuel of champions.
Sorted for the last bit home. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how you're absolutely convinced when the problem's blood sugar, you've got no carbs left, you're convinced you are done for the day.
I'm so done.
And a bit of eating, can of Coke later, you're good to go again. I find it absolutely amazing, the regenerative powers of the human body.
Oh, honestly, it was really not pretty. And I was thinking, well, I wonder if I can get a train home at this stage. It's Bank Holiday Monday. Yeah. Probably not. So yeah, cinnamon bun. And honestly, all I've been talking about was an ice cream stop at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. That was what I've been dreaming of. And then we got into, little Tesco's, and I was like, oh, I'm totally having one of those cinnamon buns. I don't want an ice cream. That's got my name all over it. So yeah, there we go.
Good effort, mate. 120 miles in the heat. That's a great one.
Yeah. Well, no, I was very worried last week that we have this coast to coast ride, like I said, and you said, "Hey, Helen, you'll be fine. You'll be fine."
Yeah.
Yeah. Any hill today, I was still really not. You can tell I have not been riding up any kind of hill, but yeah, it was quite reassuring to know that I could pedal.
Well, we often talk about it, how your endurance is really the last thing to go. As long as you slow down enough and you don't try and kill yourself and you keep on top of getting the fuel in, you really can pretty much, you get a sore bum, but other than that, you're capable of riding for as long as you've ever been capable of riding for. It's like your endurance almost never goes away. Your endurance at a certain pace maybe drops, or the pace that endurance drops, but once you've carved out the ability to do it, you'll always have that ability. Because I think mentally you just go, yep, I've done. I mean, you're in the position where you went, yeah, I've done this before every day for 2 weeks, the length of Italy.
Yeah. And even when we got back, actually, I did say, I know I could ride again now tomorrow if we wanted to, and if we, I don't know, had to or whatever, if I wasn't going to work, and I chose to go out on my bike, I know I could do it.
Brilliant. Hey, well done you.
Thanks. There we go.
You popped my bubble a little bit, really. I was all excited to tell you that I'd been for an open water swim myself, but I only went half as far as you. So it hardly counts, does it?
No, it absolutely counts. Did you wear a wetsuit?
I did. I must admit, I went in.
Hold on. You've just told me something off the air which no one's heard.
It was yesterday. I went yesterday for a swim on my own, and then today took the young man. But I did my.
Did your young man have a wetsuit, Rob?
No, he didn't have a wetsuit. No.
So
but I went in with him. I went in without a wetsuit today as well with him.
Phew. Yeah. Okay. I can cope with that.
He's only 6. He doesn't know what a wetsuit feels like yet. He'll be fine. So yesterday I did about 2K, I think, maybe 1,500 actually, and I got to the end, and I thought, actually, the water was nowhere near as cold as I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be. I basically just went to say I'd been. I was just going to jump in and get out again, and I thought, it's totally fine. So when I got out, I stripped the wetsuit off and thought, I wonder how it is without a wetsuit on, and jumped in, and it wasn't warm, but it wasn't like getting in Slate Man, It was. Yeah, you took a couple of deep breaths when you're in, but I swam around for a bit without a suit on. So it just goes to show, even if, we're lucky our swimming hole's really shallow, isn't it? That it heats up really quickly. And I know there's athletes I coach going, look, it's 9 degrees on my local lake. I'm not going in yet. But if anyone's listening and is just thinking there's no way it's just a chance to open water swim yet, just go down and give it a try. Take your wetsuit and all your thermal goodies with you as well, but you might be surprised how much it's warmed up this weekend.
I was really shocked because obviously when I left here, I think I said to you, my last run was in 0 degrees, so that would have been 5-6 weeks ago. Yeah. And then you had another beast from the east, didn't you? And it was really, really cold. That's right. So then I was thinking, how on earth has it got to okay temperature that quickly?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't too bad. There were patches where you're thinking, oh, it's a bit cold, but then other bits were really, really pleasant. And I was happy to carry on swimming. And we've said before, I am someone who really feels the cold. So if I can do it, woof.
So find yourself an open water swim venue that isn't very deep. That's the key. I think if you're swimming in a quarry, then you're probably out of luck for a couple of weeks still yet, unless you're very brave. But yeah, good stuff. All right, listen, let's jump on with the show, Hells.
Let's do it.
We've had some good racing going on this week, and so we'll jump straight in with our results, who are sponsored by our friends over at precisionhydration.com. As I mentioned at the top of the show, you can get a free box or tube of Precision Hydration electrolyte salts worth up to $9.99 using the code Oxygenaddict. Now, what you don't know is, all through the month of May, Precision Hydration Hells have kindly offered to support your Fueled by Cake campaign. They've offered to donate £5 to the campaign for everyone who spends £50 or more on pH in May. All you've got to do is use the code Fueled by Cake at the checkout, and Precision Hydration will tally that up and donate. So this is an offer for people who've already used their free $9.99 box. They want some more Precision Hydration, and they also want to help Helen raise money. So you know what, guys? It's roasting out there this weekend, and I don't care what the weather forecast says. It's going to be roasting every day for the next 3 months. So stock up for the summer now. Take advantage of this offer and do some good for charity at the same time. And do you know what? 50 quid's worth is probably enough to last you all the way through the summer as well. So there's probably never been a better time to get in and help other people. That's pretty cool, isn't it, Hels?
They're honestly absolute. They're such good eggs, Rob. It's amazing. So just if you haven't heard the podcast before and you're thinking, what the heck is this Fueled by Cake? It's a charity recipe book that I've done. The second one is called Fueled by More Cake, and I'm aiming to raise £15,000 for Melanoma UK, Cheshire East or East Cheshire Hospice, and then young epilepsy. And I'm doing that by selling recipe books, which is fueledbycake.com to get yours. And it's got loads of recipes in from lots of famous sporty people and triathletes like Laura Siddle, who we're going to be mentioning shortly, and Rachel Joyce and Chrissy Wellington, and then loads of others as well. And people keep on getting in touch, Rob, saying how much they are enjoying the different recipes. So thank you so much to precisionhydration.com, because that is like beyond generous and really, really kind. So the code is Fueled by Cake at the checkout.
And if somebody wants to get themselves a copy of your book, Hels, what's the website they need to go to, please?
So fueledbycake.com.
Could not be easier. All right, so someone who we know is fueled by cake is our friend Laura Siddle, and boy oh boy has she had another good race down in Australia. Good on you, Sid.
So pleased for her, Rob. Defending her title at Port Macquarie at Ironman Oz, which is just brilliant.
Yeah, she's done a great job, didn't she? She pretty much took it to everybody by the look of things. I think it was down to her and my mind's gone now.
Annabelle
Luxford.
Yeah. So Annabelle Luxford would have come out the water first, but she unfortunately had to pull out during the bike leg around about 150k because of severe asthma. Which it's just gutting for it, because it would have been such a good battle between the two of them. Absolutely. So unlucky, really, really unlucky and unfortunate for Annabelle Luxford. But chapeau to Sid, who stayed in the game, Rob, and obviously she got a new bike course record, didn't she? And then
4:56 on that bike course is staggeringly good. She gets better and better with each race, doesn't she?
Yep. And she finished with a massive, nearly 24-minute margin, which is just, wonderful stuff for her.
So she's only like 25 minutes down on the men's leader on the bike in terms of bike splits, which really puts it into context, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
So Laura takes it out then, 9:05, with a very solid 3:10 run at the end to finish as well, for a 25-minute margin of victory over Melanie Burke of New Zealand, who was 9:29, and Kelsey Withrow of the USA in 9:45. Now, over in the men's race, there's more fireworks as well here, because we've got a return to form from none other than Marino van Hohenacker.
Yes.
I think
amazing.
That's his, do you remember the numbers? It is 17th iron distance win.
17th, yeah.
So I thought he was all but retired, I'll be honest with you. He had 8 back-to-back wins in Austria, and he's won various other things around the world as well. 41 years old, and it looks like it was one of these races where he got pushed and pushed and pushed. I think it was down to a 2-minute difference between him and Luke McKenzie on the road. Luke McKenzie trying to run him down. Yeah. And it looks like they just pushed each other all the way to the line. And he basically looks like he collapsed when he got there as well.
I'm not, honestly, Rob, not surprised. So, he took the win in 8:14. Luke McKenzie was second in 8:18. And then Mark Bosted of New Zealand third in 8:26.
Yeah, another great performance from him. He apparently led off the bike and was leading for the first chunk of the run as well. So another step forward for him. He's had some cracking results recently. But great to see Marino back racing so well, hey?
Yeah, definitely. So, really, great wins for great people.
Now, talking more great people, our mate Terenzo, who we had on the show a couple of weeks ago, he's just taken another 70.3 victory in Busselton, where it looks like we've got their weather at the moment because the weather was so horrible. They cancelled the swim at 70.3 Busselton. It turned into a 3K run first. but he's continuing his run of astonishing form. He put 11 minutes into the entire field on the bike.
That's honestly, Rob, that is just blistering, isn't it?
I mean, he was talking, wasn't he, about the work that he's done on his bike position.
Yeah.
But on days like that, when there's howling headwinds, you really can just crush the opposition. He's done so well with that, and it looks like he's just cruised the run. So he takes the win there in 3:26. Obviously, the times are a bit different to a usual 70.3 because of not having the swim.
Yep.
Cal Millward was second in 3:37, and none other than former Ironman world champion, two-time Craig Alexander in third, 44 years old, in 3:38. I was listening to Chris McCormack's podcast the other day.
Oh, were you?
And he was howling and going, I've been like drinking beer and playing golf for 4 years, and Crow is still in world champion shape. And then he went, I quite fancy doing a triathlon again and getting back into decent shape. I've been doing a bit of training. I told my training buddies I was going to go and maybe do a 70.3 but race age group. And everybody was like, there's no way you can do that.
No.
Chris McCormack just doesn't get it. He's like, I'm old and I'm out of shape. Why can't I race age group? It's like, no, you can't.
No, that's not fair to... no, it's just not fair. Rob, one thing in... at Bustleton, the women's race. So basically, the top three after they had crossed the line were DQ'd for accidentally, for accidentally cutting the course. So it was Emily Loughlin, Christine Cross, and Sarah Crowley were DQ'd. So then Liz Blatchford then was named as winner. Annalise Jeffries second, and then third was Lisa Tyack.
Oh, yeah, look at this. So Sarah Crowley wrote, top three were all accidentally DQ'd. We went 100 metres short on lap 1. We corrected by a double back on lap 2, but we're still DQ'd. Yeah. Oh, gutted, hey?
Yep. Really gutted. One other result, Rob, was at the North American 70.3 Championship, so St. George, and I was excited about this one because Sanders and Keenley were going to go head to head again, and clearly, of course, they did. Sanders got the better of Keenley in this one. He finished in 3:41, Keenley 3:42, and there's a really, really good photo of them at the end, which just shows the respect between them. And Keenley posted something similar as well on social media, effectively saying, chapeau to Sanders.
Yeah,
and then...
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, and then I was going to say Michael Weiss was third in 3:43.
Yeah, I was just going to add that the two of them have got such a good battle going on at the moment, haven't they? Sanders has clearly raised his game in the swim, got out of the swim with Seb Keenley. So moving forward to Kona, that is some train now. That second train coming through with Lionel and Seb, and it looks like Lionel Sanders is going to keep on improving his swim as well. So maybe the challenge is then going to be, can they get away into a faster second group at Kona this year? But one thing that was interesting was Lionel managed to run 45 seconds faster than the winning time that Ali Brownlee did last year on this course. So he's still making progress, still getting faster. Yeah,
I guess conditions you never know. And then Wood Brownlee, didn't he ease off, Rob? Last year, I'm sure he eased off.
Yeah, you make a good point.
I'm sure he eased off, but
there wasn't a lot in it, was there, last year?
No, but he still put down a 1:11, which is insane.
And again, credit to Sanders, because when you get to the point where he's come from, we all know his history. He was an adult onset triathlete. To get to the point where you're challenging the times that Ali Brownlee, possibly the greatest triathlete we've ever seen, is doing. I think that's a fantastic story.
You're doing something right, aren't you?
Legend.
I want to say one thing about Sanders, which was I watched a video of him going to do. He was talking about going out of your comfort zone, and that's what he's been doing a lot with his swimming. And he entered a swim meet, so just pure swimmers, and he put himself in for 1,500 meter. And I think he got an 18:30, which was a minute faster than his PB in a short course pool, and he just sort of said, he was blown away by that performance that he had done, and it was just, yeah, just I was like, oh my God, there
That's
aren't
solid
many that
swimming,
would
isn't
do
it?
that.
That's
Yeah, but there
solid swimming.
are there many people that would put themselves up against a bunch of kids in a competition setting where
Yeah,
they're all probably going to absolutely whip your butt,
yeah.
coming from a non-swimming background and put yourself out there. I think that's amazing. Rob, Paula Finlay won the women's race in 4:15, former ITU athlete, so really doing well now in the 70.3s. Jenny Seymour of South Africa 4:17, 30 seconds ahead of Sarah True of the USA. And Meredith Kessler had been leading, Rob, so she only did Ironman Texas the week before.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So she finished in 5th in 4:21.
She doesn't do anything by halves, that lady, does she?
No.
She's going to race herself to fitness. She's really going to race herself to fitness.
Yeah. Impressivo. Rob, let's crack on. Coach's Couch. We covered it a little bit at the beginning, didn't we?
Yeah, well, I thought this would be a real good one for us to talk about because it's definitely that time of year, and I've been sitting on this topic, so I thought let's talk about your first open water swim of the season, and because we've been lucky, our swimming hole's quite shallow and it gets warm really quick. Other people might not be there yet, so there's a few things popped into my head as I was doing this and thinking, right, okay, we need to talk about a few things here so that people know what's going on when they get back in. So in terms of setting yourself up to go for the first swim of the year, the first thing I think is a no-brainer, Hells. You've got to expect it to be cold. If it is going to be really cold where you are, and I was talking about this with some of my guys who are racing Slate Man, they were saying, look, we're not going to get to swim in open water before the race. Is there anything I can do to acclimate to it? And yes, there is. The first thing you can do is you can practice putting your face in a sink full of cold water and make that water progressively colder. And it's a horrible thing to do to yourself, but you acclimate to the fact it's really cold really quickly over a session of 2 or 3 of these, just for a few minutes each evening. You get used to that feeling of having really cold water around your face, and it'll really help. The expectation it's going to be cold helps as well, so don't fool yourself and think, oh, it might be okay, because it's going to be cold, so I expect it to be. And then in terms of kit, definitely think about wearing 2 hats. I've got a Tia thermal swim cap, which is brilliant to give it its due. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it's a good bit of kit. Or even a neoprene swim hat. I like the Tia thermal hats because I don't like having how neoprene hats have a strap that goes under your chin.
Yes.
I've never liked that feeling of being restricted under there, and I know a lot of people feel the same. So check out those Tia silver thermal ones if you're the same as me. And even for a lot of races, Slate Man let you wear neoprene socks and gloves if it's really cold. They have
do they let you do both?
They do, yeah. There's a catch that says you can, if they don't want to stop people doing the race, you're not going to count in the overall results, is what they say. So if you're a competitive swimmer, if you're a competitive triathlete, you're not allowed to wear them if you're going to be racing at the pointy end. I don't know how they check whether you'd worn them or not, to be perfectly honest, but I think it's not a code thing. But if you're a kind of athlete who's going to be middle of the pack or back of the pack and you're just really concerned about actually making it through the water, I think neoprene socks and gloves are a really good idea. Obviously practice with them beforehand if you can do. Now, my top tip I always tell people, and this is really unpleasant in cold water, is to flush your suit out before you actually go for a swim. So get into the water, lie face down in the water. It's going to be really cold probably, but just get your face and your breathing. You probably have that kind of gasp reflex where you really can't breathe properly for about a minute. Lift your head to breathe. It's totally fine. Hold your breath. Dunk your head back under the water. After a minute or 2, you're somehow going to get used to it and your breathing will go back to normal. So do that first and then stand up out of the water. Pull the neck of your wetsuit down and scoop some cold water down the front. It's really going to be unpleasant. And then leg it out of the water again. And then kind of smooth your wetsuit down with your hands. So you're kind of smoothing the water all the way down that you've let into your suit. Smooth all the way down your chest, all the way down your legs and out of the legs at the bottom of your suit. And that's effectively going to seal in any water that's there. And that's going to allow your body to heat that little layer of water up. And that's what's going to keep you warm. Basically, it also makes your suit stick to your skin properly. If you haven't done that, it takes about 10 minutes worth of actual swimming for your suit to feel normal, and that's because the water slowly sort of seeps in. You don't want that happening when you're swimming in really cold water, so always do that. Always flush your suit. And the first thing I think to do when you're going for your first swim of the year is just set yourself a time goal and be satisfied if you manage to do it. So say it's 5 minutes, say it's 10 minutes. Do that, get out and go home again, because if it's really cold, that's going to just be enough. Like I said at the top of the show, I was expecting it to be freezing, and I was literally just going to jump in my wetsuit, go, and get back out again. And it turned out it was okay. But just set yourself the target of doing that and get over that kind of that shock of having done it, because I think if at all possible, you don't want to be rocking up to your first race of the year open water and having that as your first open water swim. Kind of get through all of those kinks we've just talked through in a little training session, and then you're a bit more confident when it goes to race day. Yeah, so that's my tips for open water. If you got anything else, you think we should add to that?
Yeah, it's going to sound really weird, but stick a thermos flask in the car.
Interesting. So is that for
afterwards, little
right.
treat to warm up if you're cold. And even if you don't use it, well, you've got it.
That's a great tip, to have a hot drink for afterwards. But I was actually thinking you were going to say one of my pals takes a thermos of warm but not hot water with him, and he pours that down his suit before he even gets in the water. So he never has to have that sort of cold water flushing. Now, I'm always forgetful and I've never done it, but I think that's a really good idea. You just get your suit kind of tight to your body with nice warm water before you get yourself into the water.
I hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah, it's a clever idea, isn't it?
I hadn't thought of warm water. The other one, clearly, do pee in your wetsuit. No?
Well, there's a yes and no to this, isn't there? There's nothing wrong with peeing in your wetsuit, except for when you pee in your wetsuit a lot and your wetsuit ends up smelling of pee.
I didn't do it yesterday.
No, I didn't do it either.
It was fine. But yeah, I think a hot drink. And the first time I ever went in open water, I had a hot water bottle in the car with me, which was just delightful.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah, something warm for afterwards. The taking care of afterwards part when it's been cold is key. Even just having a warm coat and a woolly hat to put on, I think can really brighten your day up. And it's worth remembering that if you swim on a day like today when it's roasting, you get out and it's really pleasant. On the standard day in the UK, you get out of the water and it actually gets colder when you get out of the water. So that becomes a real issue, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fleecy onesies all around.
Definitely.
I'm very surprised none of the big manufacturers have made like a triathlete's fleecy onesie. That'd sell like hotcakes for after swimming, wouldn't it?
Well, but they've got the sort of dry robe thing.
Yeah, dry robe things, but I want a fleecy onesie.
You want to be... All the kids have got them.
Totally.
That's what they all go swimming in.
If anyone's listening who's in the industry and you make them, go for it. The idea is yours.
Yeah. I couldn't believe when I went swimming, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I clearly hit like school time. All these kids had their onesies lined up on their pegs for coming out. And
That's
I thought,
right.
that is genius. Yeah. None of this faffing around trying to get your tights on or your jeans on.
Yeah.
Just get in a blooming onesie.
Well, as the parent of a 6-year-old, he goes into his pyjamas straight after swimming and it's one less clothing change.
Exactly. You see? Does he have a onesie as well?
Oh, yeah. He's got a Batman onesie.
There you go. You see, I knew it'd have something on it. Anyway, Rob, shall we listen to this week's interview of the week?
Yeah, really good. We managed to catch up with Will Clarke post his fantastic third place at Ironman Texas recently. So without further ado, here's our interview of the week with Will Clarke. All right, so very happy to have Will Clarke back on the show. Will, joining us by video as well today. So you got rocking the cool hat and shades, man. How are you doing today?
Thanks. Yeah. I'm good, thanks. I'm in Mallorca. It's raining.
Is it really? I was sitting there thinking I was going to be all jealous of you, but you've got a bit of rain.
Rubbish. No, it's really like everyone's kicking off here at the moment. Yeah, but I'm just coming back off. I had a pretty chaotic last week getting back, doing the Ironman Texas and then getting back from there. 2 flights later, I've been here now. So here in Mallorca for a team camp. So it's been really, it's been a bit of a whirlwind and just kind of dossing now, just absorbing that, doing a little bit of swimming, biking and running, not too much. And eating some extra Milka and a few extra beers maybe. Not too many, but yeah.
So you were hoping for a nice, hot, relaxing recovery week after Texas, but the weather gods are not quite playing ball, are they, at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, you hear all the stuff about England today is going to be hotter than Mallorca. It actually is. It is this time, and it's not just for one day as well. I think it's going to be raining for the next 3 or 4 days here. So it's really crap.
Yeah, jump on EasyJet. We're going to have a heat wave here over the weekend, Will.
Yeah. I'm home on Sunday finally. My family will be happy about that because we haven't really seen each other since the race. So.
Yeah, well, it's been a long stretch for you, hasn't it? So listen, let's jump into it and let's talk about Ironman Texas. First up, I mean, congratulations, man! 3rd place in the regional championships, and going 7:45 is. I think the last time we spoke, you just snuck under 8 hours in. Was it Denmark? You went 7:58 or something like that.
I've had a couple of 7:59s in Copenhagen and Texas last year.
Yeah.
So it's been I mean it's amazing. I'm really you put so much into this stuff. It's such a long build up. Shoulder injury and recovery aside, it's such a long process. I mean, the amount of times I was taking, the amount of sessions that I had to get, and the amount of times I had to bring myself out of bed and get out the door, mostly on my own because, to be honest, the training partners are kind of fizzling out in Loughborough, and it's been a bit of a slog this winter especially with the bad weather. So like to go to Texas, which is not exactly just around the corner, an hour flight away. It's a slog to get there. It's quite expensive to get there. So you're kind of gambling on that as well, and gambling on your body. And there's no guarantee it's going to work. I could have easily messed up my training because I've been taking care of my own swimming and running this year. Botty's been taking care of my biking, so I put faith in that. Yeah. But it's there's no guarantee that there's no guarantee that you're going to get it right at all. And there's no guarantee that you're not going to puncture within 1K of the lap or pick up a cold on the flight. So it all went well. You do have to have the stars aligned a bit as well as being in good shape. So it's it's amazing, and then it makes it super amazing when you decompress out in Mallorca and you've done it and you did an amazing performance, and then you're ahead at the start of the year. So it's brilliant. It's not even April and it's May now, and we've already got a really good result on the board. So it's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, that's really good. And I want to come back to talk about the race itself in a little while, but I suppose from your point of view now, it's a huge chunk of points towards qualifying for Kona in the bag for you, isn't it? Early days, which will put you in a great mindset going forwards.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's got 2,800 points, 2,815 because I got 15 points in Dubai, which is just a pathetic race from my part, and my teammates laughing in the background. We've been joking about it all week. But yeah, it's so I mean, I'm all but qualified for Kona really. It's not going to be difficult to do that now because I'm still going to race another Ironman, and I've got a bunch of other races to do. So it's not going to be hard to accumulate the rest of those points, barring I don't crash and break my collarbone. But it's I mean, I've always said if you don't qualify, if as a pro, if you're not qualifying easily, then you're not going to get the result that you want in Kona. You need to go there and just really have had an easy ride. Everything's gone smoothly, and you've had all the time that you need to prepare for it. I mean, if you're a young pro and this is the first time that you've gone and you're going to get some experience, then it's fine to just scrape in and then go as a Kona tourist, I guess. Yeah. It's if you're looking to go there seriously and get a top 10, which is what I'm after, at least a top 10 really. That's kind of minimum requirement because that's where the prize money finishes and that's where the recognition and everything else finishes. So you have to go there with the ambition of getting a top 10. Otherwise, you might as well go to Barcelona and do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy in your position, we're looking at. You've always been a front pack swimmer, haven't you? Your swim's always been really, really strong. And you've built this ability to bike. You've always a strong biker over the short distances, but now you've proved you've got that ability to really blitz a fast bike leg. And you've always been a really strong runner, so that's going to set you up for a really good run out there as well. So are you happy that all those pieces are falling into place for you now? Yeah, I am. I mean, what I was missing was anytime I'm swimming badly in a race, it's because of laziness. It's because I didn't do the 5K swim sets and the long build-up. It's because I've maybe been getting complacent and doing 3Ks and missing the odd thing and swimming in a wetsuit in Lanzarote, for example, all those little things. So I just have to be strong with my swimming. I have to make sure I do it and surround myself with the right people to train with. Cycling, yeah, I mean, working with Botty definitely gave me a big jump, a lot of confidence, and we focus on equipment. a bit, and bike position and the right training. And the reason I moved on from Luke was because we weren't doing the super intense biking that I kind of felt like I needed, because it's a long 112 mile time trial, and you have to have that 300 watt base, and that sweet spot, kind of that zone 3 to sweet spot in place. But if someone comes past you at 400 watts, which is always the case, and if someone's pumping the hill on the front and you have to follow a pack of 10 guys, you've only got a few chances left before you get dropped. So you have to have that 400 watt in that conditioning at 400 watts in your legs to be able to follow. So that's what was frustrating me over the past few years, is I felt that's really what I needed, but my coaches weren't really agreeing with me. So I kind of took it on myself, and I found the right guy. I mean, Botti loves the intense training. Everyone knows it. He's using the hashtag smash it all the time, and you always see him grinding it out in his photos. And it's his kind of training philosophy fitted with what I thought I needed to do. And guess what? Now I have the gas to follow the key guys.
Yeah.
Be it for 2 minutes or 10 minutes, like I can follow them. And then on the run, it's obviously that's my strength, and it's that's where I'm going to win races. It's not on the bike, but I need to be in the mix on the bike. Otherwise, I may as well not. I may as well go home and recover and relax.
Well, you've shown that you are in the mix now, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, was the changes that you've made in your training over this past year, and then how that's actually translated through into the races that you've been doing and how you've been feeling in the races. So Matt is renowned for being the guy who's going to drive you really hard. Me and him coached a couple of guys together for a while, and some of the sessions I saw him giving out, I was thinking, I'm glad it's not me that's being given this. So are you doing some of those super intense 15-second effort type things at the very, very top end?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Rob, like I've done all the training in this sport. I've done low volume programs. I've done very high volume programs. I've done very high program volumes with a lot of intensity. I'm not afraid of any sessions really.
Yeah.
That someone's going to throw at me. It's I've been there and I've done that, and I'll do what it takes to race at the front. It's just doing the right thing really, and getting the right mix of that for you. So Botti's he sent me a lot of zone 3 work, a lot of sweet spot work, some longer rides, and some very intense work, right from 15 seconds right up to minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the lot.
Yeah.
Like we just kind of built the whole portfolio really, and that's what that's what important. You have to have every stone covered really, every stone unturned. So I mean, I think that's the key really. So when you hit a race, you're kind of a well-rounded athlete. You've got a good position using the right equipment, and your training portfolio is spot on. And then I think you can, if you've got some talent, you can be in the mix all the time.
It seems like one of the things that often comes up when people are talking about the coaches and the effect that coaches have had on them is, as you've said there, you've already done all the different kinds of training that are out there. It sounds like what Matt's given you is a real confidence in the ability to, what we're doing now, we're going to tweak something slightly differently. And that's just going to add that 1% that you feel that you're missing at the minute. And the coach has given you the confidence that that's what you actually need going forwards.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's also, he's a very supportive guy. He's living around the corner from me. He definitely believes in me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done some training sessions with Matt as well, out on the bikes, and I can see that I'm riding with a guy here who rides a couple of minutes faster than me over a 10-mile time trial, but I can keep up. I can ride with him. So why the hell can't I do it in a race? So it's kind of given me that confidence as well that that I'm doing the right training, and there's no reason why I shouldn't be riding at the front or near the front.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, let's go back to Texas and talk about how the race played out for you and hear it in the kind of blow by blow. Obviously, super deep field with it being the North American Championships. A lot of very motivated athletes there. How was your perception of how the race played out for you, firstly?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, going in, like I said it before, but you never sure till you start. I really had the perfect winter this year. I barely put a foot wrong, apart from before Dubai, where I got sick and I messed up the race there. But it was really the perfect winter, so I was super confident, and also that kind of made me quite nervous. but anyway, the swim they were umming and ahhing about wetsuit, non-wetsuit. Obviously, non-wetsuit affects the times. You could be a couple of minutes faster if you're in a wetsuit. Not only that, but you can easily hide in the front pack in the swim, and with the extra buoyancy around the hips, it's a bit easier for someone like me to make the front pack. But anyway, it turned out to be a non-wetsuit, so I kind of knew I had to be on the ball there. So yeah, I swam well for the first kind of K and a half, and then we ran to the first buoy, and I lost touch of the front pack just about. It was all lined out, and I lost touch. And then from then on, for the rest of the swim, I dangled at about 20 meters for the rest of the swim, which is kind of 20, 30, 40 meters. I think it came out of water 25 seconds down, which is a bit dangerous, really, because you need to be in touch of that front pack. So it meant that I had to kind of try and catch something in transition, which I didn't actually. But then the first 10 miles of the bike I had to chase. Unfortunately, with my newfound strength, I guess I managed to reconnect and get on the back of that. But yeah, the pace on the bike was you could tell straight away it was just like a super fast day. It was the right temperature on the bike at that time in the morning. It was super fast roads, strong guys, pulling the pack along. Even if you're riding kind of 10, 12 meters apart, it's you still get a nice 10% saving there.
Yeah.
So it's important to be part of that. So yeah, so it was just super fast. It was out and back. There was no wind really to speak of. So you can kind of average, if you're gunning for it, you can kind of average 43, 44 k an hour in both directions. So it was obvious that we were going to ride somewhere around 2:15, if the course was accurate, around 2:15. So it turned out to be around 177k, which is 3k short, exactly the same as last year. I kind of knew that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we came in on 2:10.
4:10. It was 4:10 rather than 2:10. You mean? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking marathon hours.
I'm with
anyway,
you. It would be a quick bike leg, mate. If you could get around in 2:15, Botti's done his job well.
Yeah, the pace was very surgy. It was either pretty steady or it was very, very fast. So yeah, you kind of had to be focused and get your nutrition down and spend the downtime kind of regathering yourself and getting nutrition down and focusing on that, and then the getting ready for the next injection of pace, which was turning out to be super hard.
Yeah.
But all in all, we stayed together. We managed to negotiate avoiding the age groupers on the second lap. And you could see on the bike there were some decent packs in the age group race. But I was quite happy in our race because we all kind of kept our distance, even though the draft buster wasn't anywhere to be seen. So I think that's just down to kind of respect for each other, and I don't want Fred Van Leerd thinking that I'm a prick because I'm sitting on his wheel and not talking to me ever again. So that's not. Fortunately, the other 10 guys in the pack also had the same mentality. So we all rode a very fair race, race the course we were given.
Yeah.
And then obviously on the run we came in, even though I was happy to be in the front pack on the bike and with the boys, it did mean on the run that we had a ton of good runners, a ton of good runners all starting to run together. So it was going to be a shit fight on the run. And
at this point, was it basically the 10 of you and Andy Starkowitz was off the front, and it was you were all the second group together, all came into T2. Is that pretty much how it played out?
Yeah, exactly. We had Starkey 14 minutes up the road.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? To consider that for a minute.
And you know what? It could have been worse as well. It's he's super strong, and it could have turned into 20, and then we're really pushing it for catching him. 15 minutes is if you run a 240, then you can catch him.
Yeah.
If it's 20 minutes, then you're probably not going to catch him, and then he's going to run away with the win. He's not a pretty runner, but if he gets a big gap, then you're in trouble. So
yeah,
you have to kind of keep him in the back of your mind. So on, and then there was another lad who tried to go with him called Johan. I can't remember his name. A German guy who was also 7 minutes behind him and 7 minutes in front of us. And then a big pack of us. So we all started to run together and went off in pursuit of Starkey and each other. And straight away, you could see the class of Matt Hansen and Ivan Tatukin. Those guys, I traditionally start off too fast, but Matt Hansen and Tatukin ran off from me, and then Tim Van Berkel and Brent McMahon were also kind of pushing me a bit too much as well, so I had to let them go as well. I felt pretty good, but not incredible. I felt a bit maybe like I wasn't so fresh, and that as fresh as I'd liked, and the heat was affecting me a bit.
Mm.
But I could see that I was running on pace. I was still running too fast, even though I wasn't feeling incredible, and I was still getting dropped. So it's just a kind of a game of being patient for that first lap and just enjoying it. And then by kind of 15k, I caught back up to Tim Van Berkel and Brent, and I battled with them for 4 or 5k before I managed to leave them behind as well. And that's kind of So then I was in fourth because we caught Johan as well, and then fortunately, on the last lap, I was kind of focusing on getting to the last lap feeling really strong still, and being able to hold off anyone who's chasing from behind, and having that energy, being able to still run 350s, 345s, 350s on the last lap, because that's the most difficult thing really. Unfortunately, I did, and Starkey also came back super quick to me with about 5 or 6k to go, so that moved me into third, and then happy days.
And was the marathon time, was it 2:40 flat you ran?
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
I think I ran 2:40:45. It was spot on. I did mess around a bit in the giving cuddles out and high fives and a bit of walking in the finish chute. So maybe I could have kind of ran close to getting sub 240 or not quite. But yeah, I mean 2:45. It's a minute and a half PB. So
yeah,
that's spot on. I'm super happy with that.
Yeah, that bodes really well, doesn't it, going forwards? Because we've got two pieces of the puzzle there. You've proved you can bike on a really fast, surgy bike ride on a hot day, which is what you're going to face in Kona. Yeah. And then you've proven that you've got the way I'm looking at it is you've got the mental fortitude to say, right, someone's going too fast, I'm going to let them go, but pace it incredibly well. So you're running in that sort of low 240s area, which again is what you're going to need for that kind of podium shot at Kona. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, Matt Hansen, I think, showed where the level is at with his 234 high. I don't want to badmouth Matt. He's an incredible athlete, but this is his race, and in the past he's struggled to do it in Kona.
Yeah.
Or even get close. So I'm hoping that 240 is the level. That's pretty much the level that you need for Kona. So I think on the fast days people can run 235 to 236. The very best guys like Matt Hansen and Patrick Langer and all those sort of guys. But I think on a hot day with a harder bike and a hot day and humidity and everything else, I think it's all going to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
I think Matt and me ran more like a 245 last year. I'm not too sure. But I think that's more where Kona's at really. It's a different sort of race. So it's worth bearing that in mind really.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think it's fantastic, man, that you've managed to get yourself to that position in what sounds like it's been a difficult training winter for you. I know when we spoke a little bit when we were out in Lanza, and you were sort of saying, I'm desperate for people to ride with. I need training partners. So has it been hard, that kind of cycle of, were you saying you were doing 3 weeks in the UK, 3 weeks out in Lanza on camp, and kind of cycling back and forth between the two?
Yeah, it's been, the winter's been really smooth. It's more,
okay.
It's more, it's been long because I started training in Kona because of my shoulder break. I actually started putting the pieces back together in Kona. So by the time I got home from Kona, I was training pretty much properly. So it's been a long period. That's pretty much 6 months of solid training with no interruptions really. But it's been fun. I mean, I really enjoy going out to Lanzarote and all those camps. I also did a training camp with the Brownlees in Name Drop in December. No shame. And but the periods back at home, around February, March, it's just so gloomy and so cold. and there's less and less people to train with, as I said, because most of my friends are growing up and getting jobs. And a couple of people are moving out, and every year you kind of lose one or two key guys. So it's been, and also kind of when you're following a program like Matt's, you stick to it. You stick to it to the letter, and there's no budging. Whereas in the past, I would have trained with anyone and sacrificed myself in that respect. Whereas now, if you're doing your plan, pretty much everyone trains almost on their own. But yeah, I mean, it's been a perfect winter, and I was motivated the whole winter. So I've definitely had it a lot worse.
Yeah. How's the recovery from the shoulder injury been? You alluded to that a minute ago, but one thing we haven't talked about was, of course, you had a great year last year, and then it happens there's a bike crash, and that's it. The shoulder's gone, and basically the thing you built for the whole season is absolutely wrecked for you, isn't it? So that must be so difficult when you've got to schedule something for a year, and a little, a small incident turns into a break, and there you go. It's all destroyed for you.
Yeah, it was disappointing and expensive and painful and frustrating and everything above, really. It was I was kind of, last year I was gearing up to peak in Kona, so I already had 2 good races, which is fantastic, and qualified for Kona relatively easy, like hopefully I will do this year. But then just before the main kind of Kona prep, I broke my I crashed my bike, long story, and had 2 breaks in my shoulder. One, I broke my collarbone, but I also broke I also fractured my coracoid as well, which is quite, a double fracture like that is quite a long recovery. So basically it took 8 weeks before I could swim and run again, and it took 12 weeks before I could swim properly. So yeah, that was a long process, but actually, by kind of November, I was swimming close to normal again. I was a few seconds off on my max hundreds, things like that. So it wasn't too bad in the end.
It's amazing how quickly the body heals, isn't it? When you can go from being thoroughly broken to back to your best level in it. How long was that after you got back in the pool that you were swimming almost back to your normal level?
You know what? My doctor, a lot of people gave me different advice, but my team doctor said, well, I'm sorry, mate, but it's going to be 12 weeks. And I was like, no, come on, it can't be. It'll be like 6 weeks, doctor. Yeah. And he said, no, I think it's going to be 12 weeks. This is quite a nasty injury. And I think people are not giving you the full idea of how bad it is.
Right.
But yeah, you know what? I did my first proper length for swimming about 11 weeks and 6 days. And in Kona, wow. I was in Kona about 9 weeks. And I was swimming with the dolphins with Mark Livesey and all those guys and my friends. And I was doing a single arm, about a 1.5 K single arm to kind of swim with the dolphins with fins on to keep up. So it was really a mess at 10 weeks. I could not move that shoulder at all still. Yeah, 12 weeks was my first swim stroke, and then built up from then. And then maybe another 6 weeks later, I was swimming kind of semi-normally, just very unfit, grossly unfit in the water.
Did you go through periods of doubt during then when you had it all, it was all busted and slinged up or whatever? Did you ever doubt that it was actually gonna get better again?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I wasn't sure really. It was, I felt like my swimming might never come back. I knew it'd come back to 95%, but I was never sure I'd be able to get back to my best. And my best often isn't good enough. So then I thought I could be in trouble. And then I was also worried about my being able to hold a tight position on the aero bars, because that was one of my things, is I didn't have the mobility in the shoulders to really get in that turtle position and that tuck. Yeah. But fortunately, over time, it did get better and better, and to the point where I was pretty much spot on. So yeah, now as we sit here, it's pretty much all but forgotten. Fortunately.
Amazing. And what advice would you give to someone who's going through that at the moment? Because we've got so many listeners who they constantly send questions in about injuries and recover from injuries. And I think we read the headlines and go, Will Clarke's injured, he's got a broken collarbone, and just assume that 3 months he's going to be fine again. But that's often not the way it plays out in your head. And that's what we see from our listeners' questions, sort of saying, I'm not sure it's ever going to come back again.
Yeah. I think I've been in this sport for a long time, and I've seen a lot of people crashing and breaking collarbones, and I've seen a lot of very, very bad injuries, like Tim Don's thing is one of the worst I've seen. Matt Russell, he almost bled out on the course in Kona this year. I've seen people like Lucas Verbiscus, who was a young junior lad who was really in a bad way. But all these guys come back. They almost always come back. It's amazing, and I think it's amazing what the body can do and how it recovers and how quickly people come back. Tim Don, that was a pretty bad injury, but it looks like, I reckon we're going to see more classy Tim Don performances by the end of the year, or at the very least the following year. I raced Matt Russell the other weekend, the guy who almost bled out in Kona, and he was kind of struggling a bit still, but he was, by the end of the year he'll be 100% again. So I think it's just believing that it's going to be all right. It's doing what you can when you can to keep fit and keep motivated and keep your head in the game, and key thing is getting the right advice from the right people, because a lot for my shoulder, I got misdiagnosed by a number of people, and it kind of threw me off. So it's kind of getting the right advice from the right people, getting the right treatment, the right regular massage and regular physiotherapy to get it back.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then you can come back from almost anything, I think.
Keep asking different doctors until somebody tells you something that actually sounds like you want to hear, right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So listen, what does the rest of the year hold for you? How's your year planning out?
Yeah, I'm decompressing from this at the moment, but obviously also looking forward to what's next. I want to race Ironman UK. I'll be honest, I kind of hate the course. I hate the logistics that go into it. Great ambassador there. But it's, when you've done one Ironman and you've been through that whole experience, you know what to expect. You know the course. You know where the best coffee shops are and the best restaurants are. You know what hotel to stay at and how to make your life easier for next time you come back. Yeah. And part of going to these races is being stress-free and relaxed and being able to be in a position to enjoy it. So now I know all this stuff. I don't necessarily have to spend 3 hours like I did last time driving the course. I can just turn up at the hotel. I know what I'm doing. I just get my head down and do it. I know the demands of the event and when to push, when not to push. What's coming around the next corner, etc. So it just makes your performance in the second race a bit better, I think, because you know what you're up against.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's important when you're racing an Ironman and you're looking to go as fast as you can. So that's kind of the reason why I want to do it. Plus, it's my local race, and I like racing in front of my friends and the locals. And it's cheap, isn't it? It's going to cost me basically nothing to get there. I get a bit of money from Ironman to race it, not tons, but enough to make it worthwhile. And it's I'd like to win an Ironman, and I think that this is my best chance, a local race on the same roads.
Winning the hometown Ironman, winning the Ironman of your country when you're from that country, I think I can remember from when I started out, and Rich Dallin was always winning Ironman UK, or half Ironman UK as it was at the time, and he was the face of middle long distance racing in the country because of it. And I always think that's a great thing to do if you're from the UK, to race that race. Yeah. Plus, you and Joe get to go head to head. That'll make a great race. If Joe Skipper races there as well, that'll be fantastic racing with you two.
It's new. It's news to me if you're right, but I haven't heard one other person who's on the start list yet. I haven't looked into it or.
Well, you know what Joe's like. We interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and we said, "What are your plans for the rest of the year?" And he said, "I think I'll do UK. I'm decided now." Decided live on air. So you hear it here first, man. Whether his plans will change or not, I don't know. But that'd be great to see you guys racing each other, because you'll push each other so well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be a good battle. He's strong on the bike, but I'm stronger on the swim. On the run, it depends what kind of Joe you get, but it could also be a really hard battle. So that'll for sure be a good one.
Fantastic, man. Good stuff. All right, well, hey, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. We really appreciate it, man. It's great to talk to you again. And again, congratulations on that performance in Texas. Having a 7:45 there is mind-blowingly fast, man. And I think there's more to come as well for the future for you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I'll keep plugging away. Thanks for talking to me, and keep on doing doing a good work with the show. I like listening to these podcasts when I'm on my own in the doing laps of Beaver Castle in the rain.
No, well, it's nice to know that we keep you company, Will.
Great, cool.
All right, man. Speak to you soon.
Yes.
Top guy, and what a brilliant result for him.
Oh, I was really, really chuffed to see that he had nailed such an impressive time out there. So yeah, really, really, really good. And Rob, all the sort of rubbish last year that he's had as well.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting, the way he was talking about, he broke his collarbone and he thought he was going to be out forever. And even he was thinking, I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to make it back. So I was listening to him thinking, this is exactly what I went through with my Achilles every day, thinking I'm probably never going to be able to run or race again. But you get through it and then you forget that period. So it's great to remember that every time you read about a pro athlete at the very top level who's made a comeback from injury, they've been through the same mental process that you and I and everybody else have been as well. And that you've just got to keep telling yourself it's going to get better, stay positive, even when it doesn't feel like there might be much to stay positive about at the time.
Yep. It's really, really, we can all take lessons from it, can't we?
Yeah. And a nice little bit of news here to tie into that. They've just made the announcement, Ironman have officially made the announcement, having decided that the course wasn't going to, they weren't going to allow the sort of world records to stand from the course at Texas because the bike course was a bit short. They've changed their minds and said they will stand as course records and world records on the bike split. So there you go.
I think it's a load of balls.
The number of people who've been shouting about it, it's so incredibly difficult to get a course that's exactly the right length. There are so many courses that are 110 miles long or 109.5 miles long that nobody tells you about, because if they've been out and put a blazing bike split out at Roth or somewhere like that, no one goes, yeah, but it was a bit short though. They just go, yeah, I was really good today. I had great legs. Just like whenever there's drafting going on, no one ever says, there was loads of drafting and I sat in a massive pack and got a free pull all the way around. It's never them that did it. So it'd be great if every course was 112 miles, but it's not. So maybe we just need to forget about world records and just bask in there. Someone did the maths on Slow Twitch actually and said if Andy Starkowitz had carried on riding the extra 2 miles at that split, he'd have gone 3:59.5, so he'd still have been under 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the fact that we know he is a total machine on a bike, but yeah, I just think it's an absolute load of rubbish that they are reinstating world records for Ironman Texas. There we go. Rob, there was another bit of news which isn't to do with Ironman Texas, which is that Gwen Jorgensen finished 4th in her half marathon debut, didn't she? I don't think she was particularly happy with it. She posted something about humble pie for breakfast. I'm going to have a look at that and about what she actually says. She did a 1:10:58 and the winner ran in the women's race did a 1:10:04.
Yeah, it's one of those things where on paper it looks like she's had a really good run and she stayed quite close, but when you see the footage in her head, that 50-second gap is probably 250, 300 meters in the real world. So it looks like she's a long way behind the winner. So she's disappointed with it. But I tell you what, a 1:10 half marathon is not hanging about. No.
So this is what's so cool. And it was well documented, the fact that she wasn't a front pack swimmer, was she, in the early years of the ITU, and then she worked her socks off and got up there again. She wasn't particularly strong on the bike. Again, she worked her backside off and did that. So there is still time before Tokyo to see her improve in the running. She says that is her aim. She wants to become the first person to win gold in the triathlon and then gold in the marathon. So yeah, time will tell, but she really has not made a bad start at all.
Hell of a first half marathon, that, isn't it, competitively?
1:10,
1:11. And she's probably judging herself on the criteria that she wants to be running sub 220 and thinking, well, not managed to go half that pace, but I'm confident she'll get there. She'll do the work. If she stays injury free, and it sounds like she's doing everything right to do that by doing so much for running slowly, then, I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how that happens over the next year. I think she'll do it.
Yeah, it's a really, really...
I don't know whether she'll get Olympic gold, but I think she'll get herself to the standard where she can compete for it.
Yep, I agree.
Cool.
Exciting.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Hels, we better wrap it up, I think.
Definitely. I need to go and find a dark room and
have a little sleep and sleep off your long ride, hey?
Have a little kip. Yep. But it's been a joy, Rob.
It absolutely has, Hels. Right, so listen, final shout out to our sponsors, precisionhydration.com. Remember, you can use the code Oxygenaddict to get yourself $9.99's worth of free goodies. And you can also use the code Fueled by Cake, and they'll donate £5 to Helen's charities if you spend £50 or more on Precision Hydration in May of 2018. Also, a shout out to our patrons. Thanks very much for supporting the show. And until next week, everybody, enjoy what's left of the sunshine. Have a great training and racing week. And you've been listening to the Oxygenaddict Triathlon Podcast with me, Rob Wilby.
And me, Helen Murray.
All right, guys, we'll see you again next week. Thanks for listening. See ya.